Can't get a game for free. Shit, I got some change on me. Look into my eyes, moving it right. I might just pay the fee. She's cash please. Yeah. She got a way of making the block freeze. Cash please. Yeah. Can't get a game for free. Shit, I got some change on me. Look into my eyes, moving it right. I might just pay the fee. She's cash please.
And welcome back to 1.0. I'm your host with the most, Dr. Shep, coming back across the track once again, my friend. I've walked on water, I've walked on land. I got kings and queens that want to shake my hand. Who am I? The doctor. Check it out. Tonight's show is going to be based on, are you prepared? What I mean by are you prepared? With all that has happened within the last going on 3 years. Things have changed in a way where you have to start preparing yourself. And what I mean by that, just in the 3 years, you don't pay the same price for milk. You don't pay the same price for eggs. You constantly don't pay the same price for gas. And these things have to be prepared for. And it's time to start now. And not just that, with all the changes that they have posed off on us, you also need to be prepared for anything. And I'm talking in your home. Are you prepared for your son to come home and say that he's in the wrong body? Are you prepared for your daughter to come home and say her best friend is really her girlfriend? Are you prepared for the son that you sent to private school to end up in jail and you find out that he's a gang member and he done killed somebody with somebody else? Are you prepared for these things? Or are you willing to wait until it happens to you? That's mostly the way it goes. We wait till it happened to us and then we pick up that cause. But are you prepared to deal with that before that happens? Because this conversation that I'm having now, when I was growing up, the what you had to learn was the birds and bees. You young folk don't know nothing about birds and bees. See, that's all that was required of you, was to learn the birds and bees. And the birds and bees was girls and boys. See? And that was the most high level thing that you had to learn, the birds and bees. And nowadays, they have to learn a whole lot more than that. And are you prepared for that learning of your child when they come home and you have to deal with them? And what I mean by deal with them, when you have to have some sort of communication with them, and you are totally on the moon when it comes to understanding what they're trying to tell you nowadays. They have a whole different explanation of everything. It's not just black and white with them no more. But are you prepared to have that conversation? Have you done your research on what's going on with them lately? Are you still just trying to hold down something that you didn't even, apply to yourself, which was old school shit? See, because when we got out of school and we had our children, our thing was not to have them live like we lived, or not to have them deprived like we were deprived. And that was our fault, because turns out we wasn't deprived. When we were being raised by our parents through the times that they were in, we were a miracle to get to adulthood. It was actually a miracle. Now just think, it was racism, it was white folks, it was lynchings, it was all this that we had to go outside and go to school with and go to the store and go to work. We had to go through all this. So it was a miracle that we, survived that. It's a miracle that we survived that. But in the terms of young people today, they have more. So therefore, they feel like they are entitled. You know, they basically push their parents to have or to supply what they feel like they entitled to. Entitlement is a powerful thing. And my question is, we know that, but what are you doing to prepare yourself for entitlement behavior? Are you willing to stop supplying that feeling to them? Or is it easier just to continue and act like it's not happening? I can dig that because I've done it. I'd rather just, let the boat float for a while, hoping that things probably would change or something like that, but not really putting no effort into the change that I want to happen. I've done that because I didn't feel like I had probably the strength to do what I needed to do. So I just left it alone. But now this is the season of preparation because I think they call it the year of change, the year of the was the year of the rabbit, or yeah, the year of the rabbit. This is where everything changes. And the thing about it is that what we're going through has happened before. This is just a repeat. And you have a chance to prepare because it's a repeat. You can go back and look at history and see what happened then, and I'm sure enough, that's what's happening now. This is what we call the year of the rabbit. This is when new technology is dropped. They drop new technology, they drop new science, they drop new uh, astronomy, they drop new. You just check it out. Just here recently, they discovered 198 new land masses past Japan, in Japan. Now, when I was growing up, they had something they called a globe. That means somebody flew all around what they call round Earth. And they cataloged all the land masses. How did they miss 198? So, uh, my bad. That's one of my bad things. My bad. We missed those over there. So, if we even don't even know what's really on this planet, I think it's best for you to prepare for the unknown and prepare for the worst. Because as I sit here, and you very well know it too, that you have a feeling of you don't know what the fuck is going on. So in order for you not to think about you not knowing what the fuck is going on, you might work harder. You might try to do things to force that feeling of normalcy that you had 3 years ago. Yeah, a lot of people trying to force that normalcy. Now just look at the way things are now. We got mass school shootings. We have uh, right on the edge of war, which we're already in war. They just ain't announced it yet. And people are still behaving in a way where everything is all good. I've never seen people behave like they're very happy, like they're balling and all that when the world is going to hell in a handbasket with gasoline draws on. And we just a TikToking, we just a ass clapping, and we dancing, and we singing, and we just as happy as we can be. But are you prepared when all the music shuts off, when the television shuts off, when the telephone shuts off? Are you prepared for that? Here in Houston, we actually had a dry run to that. We had a freak winter storm here, and for days we were without everything that we depended on, and you got to dry up. But because back in the day, I was well prepared for not to have the amenities that we have today. I was very prepared because we never had them. I don't know nothing about all this stuff. It's just it's available to us now and we get it, but without it, I can still fry chicken. Without electricity, I can still fry chicken. Without lights, I still can see. Without the grocery store, I still can eat. And if I can't find it at the grocery store, I still can hunt. I still can build a shelter. I know how to make fire out of nothing. Can you dig it? And I didn't learn this on YouTube, Instagram, nor TikTok. This is what the preparation that was put in us back in the day, because these are the things that we had to do. Because what y'all know to be normal is something lazy and what I call mind mush. It mushes your mind. Just totally makes you, you know, a slave to something. So, are you prepared? Have you ever thought about if your lights are out for more than 12 days? Have you ever thought about, and I know you have because in this region we have hurricanes. So I know you've lived this way. And every time it'd be like mass chaos. And it's because you didn't prepare yourself. But what I'm saying, the preparation is it's like candles burning at both ends on how on things that you need to prepare yourself for. Like in state here, there's a food shortage that's continually to get worse, and because of the food shortage, because the law of supply and demand, when there's less, the price goes up. When there's more, the price goes down. So what do you think is going to happen? And somebody please tell me what happened to all those ships out there in the harbor that had all these goods and stuff on them that they couldn't get in. That was 2 years ago. What happened to them? Did they ever come in? Did the orders get filled? Or y'all still holding it at the warehouse? But they are feeding us a food shortage. Now, just think for a moment. If food was short, how could you help yourself? What can you supply yourself with where you don't have to go to the grocery store? Do you know? Was you at grandma's house when even in the projects? Was you at grandma's house when she had them peppers and them greens planted right there in front of the house when you walk in the door? Did you pay attention? When you moved to the city and you came back home to the country, and Uncle Bob tried to give you a bag of that lettuce and them collards, or them the mustards, greens and tomatoes and okra and all this here stuff, and you didn't want it. These are the things that are gonna contribute to your survival, and you can't be surprised. Our ancestors passed this down for it to be used, not to be disrespected and forgotten, and like you'll never use these things again. No, that wasn't the reason. These things were passed down for a reason because, as I said before, times repeat themselves. When some spiritual folks say things have to cleanse themselves and then they start anew. And we are in that season of the rabbit, meaning that all of what we used to use 3 years ago, the computers, the technology, and all that, that's old shit. Yeah, you can get that in the resale shop now. They finna roll out some new shit on us, and are you prepared for that? You know, back in the day, women and men, they used to say, well, you know, he hard working, he a good man, hard working man. Now that robots and computers are doing our job and AI, we are no longer necessary. So what it makes me now that I can't work hard till I die, you know, just work myself to death and then, you know, say I did it for my family. What becomes of me? Are you prepared for a life like that? Are you prepared to be what they would describe as expendable? If you no longer have a use, now you have to understand that even though you think you're a free person and you're not, when you came when you came here through the stargate of your mother, you joined a corporation that has you in dead in the right because somebody signs you into their uh, what they call a corporation. You have loans that were taken out in your name, so somebody you belong to somebody, and then knowing that, how can you prepare for something that you know you never really paid attention to because of all the jury and all the fat asses and all the Instagram and all the Facebook and all the everybody's a star. Everybody has a 7 minutes of fame, 7 seconds of fame, or however long it lasts. How can you prepare yourself if you tick-tocking and doing the latest, you know, how can you prepare yourself if you only see your children maybe 2 hours out of a day? How can you prepare yourself if you continue to ingest the blue pill, meaning that you stayed asleep when you had a choice to wake up? We often take for granted that this, what we call peace, we take it for granted because we don't know that with everything has a other side to it. If you find peace, either you have been through chaos, so you really know what peace is when it comes to you. You can't know the opposite of things if you haven't experienced both. But we live like that other side is never going to affect us, and it's affected us greatly right now. Today in 2023, it affects us right today. And we still have this thing to where we still not preparing. We still chasing the bag. We still trying to put out the hottest, trap music. We got all these artists that, most of people look up to. I stopped looking up to them. That's those, they are not my heroes. I have a couple of artists that I listen to because they actually provide uh, humanity with something good. But besides all that old other shit, I don't listen to it. But we are study chasing these things and acting like what's right before our eyes is not happening. It was a time when you could say things like UFOs are real, and you would get a side eye because they, you know, did what they do as far as information. So you never prepared yourself for nothing like that. But you was first in line when Independence Day came out, and in the Independence Day, Independence Day 2, and that meant that you had some sort of conscious thought about it. But now that they admit it, have you prepared yourself to meet another uh, civilization of people. Now, even so, you might be one of those people that still yet think this is far out. But because the pyramids are there, because the Sphinx is there, because of the other archaeological finds that they've found, you have to know that people have been here before us, before the people that were here. This planet has been used several times. It just so happened that we come up in humanity where, somebody found out that they can control the masses by information and by medical means, by psychological means, and they've done it. And now that the cat is out the bag, you have to prepare yourself. Now, as African American or whatever you want to classify yourself as, but I'm going back to Indian and Native, indigenous. That's what I'm going back to. I'm not calling myself African American no more. I am indigenous to this land. I was here 5,000 years before Columbus. Whoever that white boy was got on that boat and came over here. I was already here. My folks was already here. So this is another preparation that you need to, you know, prepare for, is the truth about us. And it does make a difference. I used to say, well, okay, now you know who you are. What difference does it make? You still got bills. You still got regular car. You still trying to do this. You still trying to do that. Now that you know you this and you that and you this and that. But no, it does make a difference because it adds a fire to you as a person. It gives you a sense of being, something that we've missed and something that was robbed of us because they thought we all got off the boat. And that's where our history started. No, that's a lie. So are you prepared to accept that? And after you accept that, are you prepared to kind of like figure out what are you here for? Because we're here for a reason. They've tried to get rid of us with every kind of means that they can come up with, medically, by the water, by the food, by the police, by the judicial system, prison, uh, everything. It was directed to us. So are you prepared now that the cat is out the bag? Let's say this. These strange things or these strange objects and these strange vehicles that they cannot identify and tell us what they are. What if it's black folks on them things? How would that make you feel? What if the UFOs landed and black folks got up off of it and say, well, okay, what's going on around here? Which there are instances of this actually happening. Henceforth, the little speech that Ronald Reagan gave years ago about what if we were threatened by something other than us? How quickly will we bond together as a planet? So these things are not being spoke about to just like, I don't know, why would they say things like that? But are you prepared? Not just for those things, but are you prepared for the new threats that come walk through your front door? Your children that you have allowed to go out in the world and absorb this bullshit that they are feeding us. Are you prepared for that? Do you give your children or your husband or your girlfriend or your wife or your nephew or your whoever, do you give them the armor to go out in this world that we live in today? Do you give them something to fight with? Because we got a habit of not giving our children something to fight with, and then when they lose, we jump on them. That happened to us a lot from the old school. Cause them folks had a lot of shit. They made a lot of mistakes. Okay. And the best that they told us was just, hey man, don't fuck with them white folk. Bring your black ass in the house before them street lights come on. That was life-saving advice. And that was their way of preparing us. Because they thought it was going to always be that way. And that's what we don't respect. We always thought it was going to be the way that it was. Because if the lifespan didn't allow us to be here for the last change. Okay. There's only a few older people on this planet that got to see a couple of changes like that. But in my time, this is new to me. So it's time to stop thinking about, okay, well, where we at, what we doing, what's going on. It's time to stop. It's time to start preparing, y'all. It's time for you to start getting these the way that we used to live. You need to remember that. Not only remember it, but you need to start. You need to start instituting it. You need to put some seeds in the ground, and not just in your garden, but you need to put seeds in the ground in your house because of the way the things are about to go. And this is not me. You see it. You feel it every day that you get up. You walk out that door, and you feel like something ain't. Something is off. Okay, something is off. You feel it every day, but you cover it up with some margaritas. You cover it up with some weed. You cover it up with going out dancing. These things that you are familiar with, that mark my word, will not be here to defend you when it goes down. So tonight's show is, are you prepared? Are you still on that blue pill? You just want to go back to sleep, go back to doing what you were doing. Or did you take the real red pill and start planting your garden? Did you dig your well? Do you have all your provisions to at least uh, be able to survive comfortably for 30 days? Have you learned how to make electricity, free energy? I seen a podcast where they showing people how to make, generators out of alternators off of cars. And I plan to do that myself because I'm partially off the grid. Because I figured this is what time it is to start preparing for the times that are to come, and not wait to that day that everything gets shut off. Because like I mentioned that winter storm earlier here in Houston, it was terrible. Phones didn't work, lights were out, everything was frozen. I mean, basically was shit shot back into medieval days, and people died simply because they didn't know how to survive. So just imagine if a major hurricane comes and we and those same circumstances, a bunch of people that know how to dress well, a bunch of people that has fingernails and eyelashes and hair, and they were dedicated to that, but none of them learned how to swim. Spent money on beauty products and clothes, but don't know how to swim. Does that make sense to you? Because this planet if you don't know it by now, this planet is the most incredible thing that you will ever experience. And somehow, some power made it to where we could survive just on this planet itself. I mean, that's without businesses, that's without taxes, that's without divorce, that's without child support, that's without girlfriend, boyfriend. I mean, just the planet itself is extraordinary. And it does these things. I mean, it's just like the human body. It cleanses itself. And we've talked of the world ending plenty of times, but this world never ended. You did. So are you prepared for that not to be your existence or your reality before your time? Because there are things you can do to up your chances, or at least surviving through whatever we go through. Now, as black people, I know how we are. I know, and I've never seen a time where everybody wanted to ball like this. Everybody always wanted some money, but to the point where you would fake like you got money just to feel whatever you get from that, and not preparing yourself for what's actually happening around here. Now, this podcast, 1.0, is a comedic based podcast, but we can laugh when it makes sense to laugh. Right now, you need to prepare yourself. You need to prepare yourself, and mostly of us, we are invested on a low level to where if something happens, it would basically destroy you. You know, a lot of us don't have gold deposits. A lot of us don't have Dogecoin. A lot of us don't have a whole bunch of property. A lot of us don't have priceless art. A lot of us don't have, we don't even have chicken and eggs to sell no more. We used to. You don't have no cotton. You don't have shit to sell. You don't have no cattle. You don't have none of this. And these are the things that might be the very things that save your existence with the times that are here to come. Now, I'm not talking you know, Armageddon type of shit, because it don't take all that, which I learned from the Houston winter storm. It don't take all that to shut us down. With the way they have us dependent on electronics, with the way that they got us dependent on that air money, meaning credit cards and all these here type of shit. The way that they have us dependent on you don't even exist unless you have an email. The way they have us dependent on these things, you best start preparing in another way, because they can hit a button and cut all that off in a millisecond. So what have you done to where you and yours is going to be okay? Because I know right now you make sure they got Jordans. I know right now you make sure they eating big, steak and shrimp. You know, you make sure they clean. They got all the cologne. They got all the latest PlayStation. I know you make sure they got that. And you mean to tell me you're going to spend all that money and not going to try to protect your investment by preparing yourself for something that otherwise don't happen every day? Well, guess what? The clock is ticking. And they started the doomsday clock. We were here to see them start the doomsday clock. Yes, sir. I don't actually know what that means, but just saying that it's the doomsday clock, I hate the motherfucker to hit zero. But we have to start preparing. We have to do better. We have to bring back that what our ancestors gave us naturally. And that's the thing about this place. We've always survived whatever time gave us. Slavery. Well, let's start with the trip. of the people who actually went through that. Half of them not making it, being thrown into the sea. The other half get here sickly, and we've made it through that. We made it from when they gave us, syphilis, purposely, to see what the reaction would be in the human body. We made it through that. We made it through all the other things that they've done, but we made it without preparation. So just imagine how it would be if you prepare, because we've always waited until it happened to us. So start taking inventory on this preparation. Now, I would be wrong if I didn't tell you how to prepare. See, that's the difference in me. I'm not just going to point out that we're unprepared, but I'm going to tell you how to prepare. In order for you to be able to survive a certain amount of days, you have to have a certain amount of provisions. So you're going to need water. You're going to need some way of creating fire. You're going to need some way of cleaning water, purifying water. You're going to want non-perishables, is what you should be collecting now. Batteries. You should go and look at some of these TikTok tutorials on how to survive, how to build shelter, how to start a fire, how to generate electricity. Because people, we are headed toward the new beginning. And in order for that to happen, the old shit has to go. And how it goes, who knows? What happened when the doors close? We do not know, but we know this. It has happened before on a short period of time here for the winter storm, but during the hurricanes and all that, it happened for a longer time. Power was out very long. So you need to, I use a burner, a fish fry burner, and propane. You're going to need these things because this is preparation. And then, you need to go within your home and start preparing your family. You need to have a fallout plan. You need to have a meeting place. You need to get other means of communication like long range CBs for communication, because cell phones are not going to be working. It's happened, people, just here recently. When the winter storm happened, no communication unless you had a landline. Ain't that something? Now the landline is old school, ain't it? You could have charged $100 a call. Yes, sir. So this is the preparation that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about going and stacking up on eyelashes or going and you know, getting you some Jordans so you can look good when the fallout happens. I'm talking about actual preparation of you speaking with your family, you showing them how to do uh, certain things, you showing them where the emergency preparations are, you showing them medicines that could save your life, and showing them how to administer it, showing them what CPR is. And black folks, learn how to swim. Black folks, learn how to make a fire. Black folks, learn what you can eat in nature. Now, this is preparation. Black folks, if you have land, dig you some wells. water wells. Black folks, if you got land, get you some cows, chickens, and you know, because this is where we headed. And these things that I just named off won't only be food, but it'll be, you know, revenue. It'll be money. And to prove it, I can prove it to you like this. For the guys who have been in jail, prison, or whatever, they don't use money there. Food is your money. Whatever product you get off of commissary, whatever the value of it is, that's the value of what you have, and that's the money. If you want to buy cigarettes, 4 suits, that's $1. Because they are 25 cents a piece on commissary. If you big time and then you want something special, you got, bust down some ice cream, because a pint of ice cream is high up in there. And that's your money. And because money was taken out of that equation, it's natural that happens. But before money came into the equation, that's how they paid for wives and everything else. Hey, I got 2 sheep for your daughter, man. She looking good. I might throw in a jug of this wine. You know, that's good. That's good money for your daughter now. Now, if you want to throw in that other daughter, I got a few cows over here. That was the money back then because that was something that was cultivated, and you could replace that cow, you could replace that egg if you had land, and you prepared for that. So that's where we headed, y'all. I'm hoping that we don't reach that, but Murphy Law tell you that if anything bad can happen, it will. So you need to be prepared. That's Murphy's Law. Y'all look it up. If anything bad can happen, it will. So you need to be prepared. You need to start talking to your families and try to defuse the damage that's been done with television, music, and radio, and these different movements that they have. The LGBT. You need to try to defuse all this because we've actually let it go on because you actually, if you try to stand up against some of this stuff, you'll get prosecuted. Yeah, that's why our kids don't know shit because we picked up their way of doing things and we didn't pass it along to our children. They just out there just as naked as they want to be, unprepared. I never seen such unprepared young people in my life that think they know it all. Can't, because I never told you how to really survive. You got these people, you got these young fellas out here. They so prepped and so pretty, and their clothes is clean. Wouldn't dare change a tire, and they could probably the woman could have probably come and picked them up to take them out, and the tire go flat, and that motherfucker ain't finna touch that tire. He gonna ask you if you got roadside assistance or call your daddy or somebody, but I got on these Balenciagas, bitch. I'm not finna shit. And are you prepared for that to happen to you? Because some of y'all mamas are gonna go through that. Yeah. Are you prepared for that to happen? Are you gonna hold them responsible when they give you that type of reaction? What have you ever made them do beyond what they been doing? Is demanding and telling you what you don't fucking know and shit. But times are finna get to where you gonna have to know something. And I'm saying getting there. We're already there. Y'all just ain't really just, well, I guess if you when you admit it to yourself, it becomes real, and then you might panic or some shit. So now you just stay on autopilot, but it's time to take the wheel. It's time to get off of autopilot and take control of this shit. And just let's just say it doesn't happen. Good. And you'll be prepared for when it does. So there's nothing like, doing it now than waiting to, because we see these atrocities in other countries. They have tsunamis, they have all this other shit, and I just don't know why y'all think that this region that we live in is so safe from these things. America, y'all, is no longer the big bad motherfucker on the planet. No sir. That has changed, and because that has changed, it's even more probable that change is going to reach us sooner or later. And when it does, I just want everybody that is capable to be able to survive it. Because as things have been here lately, we've gone through things that we probably would have never thought we would go through. You never thought when you bought your home and you went to school to pay for it and you had it going on and you was 3 years, 4, 5, 12 years until paying for that home, and then COVID came and took your shit because you did not prepare for something like that to happen. When you went to work every fucking day and COVID came and you lost your job and all that money you saved up you had to spend to make it through that time because you wasn't prepared. And how can you be prepared for that? I'll tell you how. It's to listen to the sound of my voice when I tell you that we are in perilous times. It is real. It is true. We are in the year of the rabbit, meaning that all of what you know is now old, just like the rotary phone, baby. Just like bell bottoms and afros. We are in the big change, a big reset. And because we are, there's no way that all of what you strive for is worth Indian fucking nickel. Okay? It's not. That education that you got, man, ain't worth a wood nickel. All of what you strive for 3 years ago, kaput. And you wasn't prepared for that because we have ingested that blue pill and we just chose to be sleep. But this is the wake up call, y'all, here on 1.0. I'm your host, Dr. Shep, and I just want to bring that point to you because nobody's talking about this. We're talking about each other, and when you look at social media, TikTok does a good job as far as putting out the message. But we would rather learn the latest, dance challenge, or we would rather talk about what Beyonce done or whoever in the news, and not really deal with what's going on in our own homes. That and my thing is that I came from that, being able to do more with less, but this wasn't continued to be taught after my generation. Some quite a few got it, luckily, but after that generation it became materialistic. Everything that you needed you could buy. But we are back at a point where you can't buy what you need now. You can't buy knowledge that would help you Otherwise, make it not a problem for you not to have any lights. It wouldn't be a problem for you to still travel. It wouldn't be a problem for you to still communicate if you knew just how your mother lived or her mother lived or your daddy lived or how his daddy lived. If you knew how they lived, then you would have the answer to hard times when they come. But because we dissed that and told our children that they were better than us and they deserved better than us, that was our mistake. Because it turned out our parents gave us something that you can otherwise go to college and get. And it kind of comes to where your life was just kind of like taken on a meaningless ride. And then they pulled over and let your ass out. And you can't find your way home. So get prepared, people. What I want you to do, I want you to start, just start getting your list together. Go around your home and think about what you won't have if they actually cut things out. Think about what you would need if everything just went off. This is something that you need. Not because the world's finna end, it's because things are more active than they were before. Tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, electrical storms, just regular rainstorms have gotten vicious. So you need to start preparing yourself. But as we can see, produce, eggs, poultry, beef, all these things are going into um, the range where it's unaffordable. How would you? How do you see yourself compensating for these things not being there anymore? Think about that. If you have children, you have to think about that. If you're taking care of your parents, you have to think about that. If you're totally dependent on electronics and social media, you have to think about that is just a click of a button or it's just a disturbance of a satellite that will render you incapacitated. So, other things that you might need to look into is shortwave radios that you can with a wind up power source where you don't even need batteries. You have to start and by all means, please get you a water filter, a cold water filter, where you can take water and you could, you know, make it drinkable. These are the things that you need to have in your fallout package. Because it's time for us to start preparing and stop sitting here like sitting ducks and just waiting for the lights to go out. You know what's going on. You've been told. And if you're still getting up every day, taking that blue pill and just pretending like times are not moving on, then, by all means, don't waste your time preparing because you already got. So, here on One Point Motherfucking Zero, we just want to keep everybody informed. I'm glad everybody that chimed in. Please remember to like and subscribe. Leave your comments if you have any other subjects that you would like for me to, um, you know, talk about. Please drop it in my DMs. We do have merch, okay? And I am a comedian, so if you need a comedian for any kind of entertainment or shows or whatever, just DM me and we'll get that worked out. It's your boy Dr. Shep from One Point Motherfucker Zero, asking you to be prepared for what is to come because it's coming. just like everything else has come. COVID, stimulus, stimulus packages. All this has came. Extra food stamps. Y'all got to know they about to kill us if they give us anything. They give you something, they gonna take double back. So, man, prepare yourself because they did that with gas. You know what I'm saying? All that money they gave us, we spent that on gas. Having that PP loan went to gas. Okay, the stimulus payments, half of it went to gas. So they got all that money back. But prepare yourself and prepare your home. Prepare your children on what to do in any kind of emergency or any kind of last minute uh, emergency that might happen, because that's what time it is. Because it's easier to have a group of people trying to make it than one person that's trying to save a group of people. So let's wise up, people. Here on 1.0, man. I love you much and thank y'all for chiming in. And we'll be back next week, same bat time and same bat place. It's your boy, Dr. Shep, the host with the most, coming back across the track once again, my friend. I've walked on water, I've walked on land. I got kings and queens that want to shake my hand. Who am I? The doctor. Take one of these and call me in the morning.
Can't get a game for free. Shit, I got some change on me.